Was it all a lie? That's the question that screams inside my head as I stare at the crisp white envelope in my hand. For 5 years, I was her rock. I worked 2 jobs, pouring every extra dollar into her tuition, her books, her late-night coffee runs. I saw her through the grueling all-nighters, the stress of final exams, and the triumphant smile after every passing grade. I was the silent partner in her dream, the unshakable foundation beneath her towering ambition. Her graduation day, a week ago, was the culmination of our shared sacrifice, a victory for us both. I felt a pride so deep it ached, watching her walk across that stage. We celebrated like we'd conquered the world, a celebratory dinner, followed by a quiet night at home, filled with promises of a future we had so carefully planned. The next day, I came home from work and found her smiling, a familiar, beautiful expression on her face as she handed me this envelope. The weight of it in my palm was unsettling, but my mind was already racing, dreaming of the 2-week vacation to Cabo we'd talked about. I believed it was a gift, a surprise to celebrate our new beginning. I was so wrong. As I unfolded the document, a cold dread spread through me. The words, "Petition for the dissolution of marriage," blurred before my eyes. My heart, once a warm, steady drumbeat of love and devotion, turned into a frantic, chaotic rhythm of betrayal. The signature at the bottom was hers, neat and decisive. It wasn't a gift. It was an eviction notice from the life I had built for us. What was I supposed to do now? The apartment, once a haven of shared dreams, now feels like a crime scene. Every object tells a story of her, and every story feels tainted. The coffee maker we bought together, the worn-out couch where we spent countless hours studying, the bookshelf filled with her textbooks and my handwritten notes. It is all a museum of a life that never existed. I stumble through the rooms, the silence deafening, my mind replaying our last conversation, searching for a sign, a hint, anything I missed. I thought I knew her better than anyone, but the stranger who signed those papers is a phantom I can't place. Lost in the abyss of my grief, I find myself compulsively organizing her study space, a futile attempt to regain control. I find a loose folder of her financial documents from the last few months. Tucked inside is a handwritten note not from me, but in a familiar script I can't quite place, along with a bank statement showing a massive unexplained withdrawal. Not from our shared account, but from a private one I never knew existed. The amount is staggering, nearly $250,000, the exact amount I'd saved for our future. My blood runs cold. This isn't just about a divorce. It's a calculated, methodical robbery. I clutch the documents, the rage a burning fire in my gut. I have to know where this money went and who helped her take it. My pain is no longer a gentle ache. It's a righteous fury. But just as I go to search for the recipient's name, I notice the note has an address on it in an unfamiliar part of town. Why would she be there? I arrive at the address, a shabby, nondescript building in a part of town I never knew existed, a far cry from the sleek, modern clinic she had always talked about working for. My hands are shaking, but the anger has replaced my fear. I step inside and a wave of sound and color hits me. It's not a business office, but a bustling art gallery filled with vibrant, expressive works, each one a testament to an artist's inner turmoil. And there, standing in the middle of it all, is my wife, not in her tailored business clothes, but in a paint-splattered smock, her face alive with a passion I haven't seen since the first time we met. She's talking to a man, a handsome, well-dressed art collector, and my heart plummets. I was right. There was another man. The pieces of the puzzle click into place. The hidden account, the huge withdrawal, the new life. The man hands her an envelope, filled with cash, and she smiles. A secret, knowing smile. My blood boils over. This wasn't about her medical career. It was about her secret life as an artist, a secret she had protected with a wall of lies, and a secret I was now paying for. I take a step forward, my voice catching in my throat, ready to confront her. But then, a large portrait on the far wall catches my eye. A chillingly accurate depiction of a car accident, a scene of shattered glass and twisted metal, a grim reflection of a memory I had long since buried. As my eyes scan the other paintings, a haunting pattern emerges. They aren't just paintings. They are a visual diary of a life I didn't know she had lived, each one a window into a past I never knew existed. It was all so personal. Why would she show this to a complete stranger? And who was the man she was talking to? I stand frozen in the gallery, the pieces of her life scattered like fragments of shattered glass. The man she was talking to turns, and he isn't a new lover. He's a gallery owner, and his words are a revelation. Her work is raw, visceral, he says to a potential buyer. She captures pain like no one I've ever seen. Each piece is a step in her healing process. He gestures to the painting of the car accident, explaining that it was the tragic accident that killed her parents when she was just a teenager. The emotional depth, the vibrant colors, they weren't just art, they were her trauma, her therapy. The divorce papers, the withdrawal, the secrecy, it all starts to make a horrifying sense. She wasn't leaving me for another man or another life. The money wasn't a secret stash for a new beginning. The art gallery was a way to raise money for a legal fund to prove her late father was not responsible for the accident. The guilt had been with her ever since. The money she withdrew, the large sum I found on the bank statement, was a final lump sum to pay her legal fees. She was not a thief. She was fighting to clear her family's name. A part of me wanted to be angry, but a larger part was gutted with the realization of her pain. She sees me, her eyes widening with shock and fear. The gallery owner gives us some space. I had to do this alone, she whispers, her voice trembling. I didn't want to drag you into it. Her words are a confession of a love so deep, she had to push me away to protect me. I now stand at a crossroads, faced with a woman who has a dark secret I can't begin to understand. A secret that she thought she had to bear alone. But why did she choose to endure this alone? What was she hiding? She explains everything in a torrent of words, the truth pouring out like a dam breaking. The accident, the forged police report, the years of living under a cloud of false blame. The law degree, she reveals, was never for a career in medicine, but for her own private investigation. The money I poured into her education wasn't just for a degree. It was for the knowledge to fight for her family's honor. It was all a calculated, years-long plan, a promise she made to herself to right a terrible wrong. The divorce papers, she admits, were a final safeguard, a brutal way to keep me from becoming entangled in the dangerous world she was about to step into. I had to sever all ties, she says, her eyes filled with tears. I thought it was the only way to protect you. My father's enemies. They are still out there. My heart breaks for her, for the burden she carried in silence, for the years she spent alone in her own mind, a prisoner of her past. She hands me a small, worn-out locket. Inside is a picture of a little girl, a familiar face with her same eyes. She tells me the truth, that the girl in the picture is not her, but a younger sister who was the real victim of the accident. She was the one driving the car, not her father. My heart pounds in my chest. What else was she hiding? I look at the picture in the locket, the face of a beautiful, innocent girl. Her sister's innocence was the true secret she had fought so hard to protect. She tells me that the person who tampered with the police report was the person her father was investigating at the time, a high-ranking official who was tied to a larger, more dangerous network. Her plan was to gather the evidence, anonymously submit it to the authorities, and disappear, a ghost in the wind, a woman without a past. She was ready to give up everything, even me, for a chance at a normal life for her sister. I look into her eyes, no longer seeing a stranger, but a hero, a woman of impossible strength. I feel a wave of emotion wash over me, a mix of awe, respect, and a love that has survived the fire. I take her hand, the divorce papers and bank statements forgotten. I'm not leaving, I tell her, my voice firm. She looks at me, shocked. I've been your partner in this from the start. I just didn't know it. We're a team, and we will get through this together. I realize that our shared journey wasn't about her career or our future, but about a bond forged in sacrifice and now tested by fire. I don't know what our future holds or what dangers lie ahead, but for the first time in my life, I know my purpose. It's not to fix her past, but to walk with her into an uncertain future. I just need to figure out what comes next.